So I have a little bit of a story to tell, and that is just a warning for anyone who thinks it might be funny to go up to children and say that you are them from the future, and that, if not to listen to your parents and that you'll know what you mean in like 15 years. Do not do that, because it turns out that that is a felony. So just a big little tip there for us listeners and our Patreon subscribers.
What exactly did they charge you with, Chris?
I actually can't even talk about it. It's an ongoing investigation.
It wasn't like Back to the Future Clause 2.38. Okay. All right.
No, it's a very serious situation I find myself in right now.
Welcome to 52 weeks of face-off and free legal advice.
The following may contain harsh language, poorly communicated ideas, and does not reflect the opinions of iHeartRadio.
All right, so this is week 18 of the 52 weeks of Face-Off. This is an in-depth review on pretty sure most people's favorite movie, Face-Off 1997. In this exciting new episode, we are talking about a few of the trivial facts that might just get you a beer or a drink or some sort of prize at a fact show. One of those shows that come town to town, all full of facts, and then you have to guess certain facts, and you win certain special prizes.
Like a trivia contest?
No. So there are a few things that I want to talk about, and a few facts that Tyler and Sean are going to be bringing into the mix, and a very exciting truth will be told at the end of the episode. I can't wait to tell you guys. So. Very good. Sean?
Yeah, Chris.
You have the most facts. So please.
During our entire pre-process, I thought we agreed you were going to go first, but let's go with me first.
Okay.
This is Fact Off 21.
Well, you know what? It must be because I believe in you, Sean.
It must be. It absolutely must be. All right.
So my first thing is the fact that it was the first movie on Blu-ray. All right, your turn, Sean.
Should we not discuss it? Jesus fucking Christ.
Okay, so
that's a big statement. Like, are you saying it's the actual first movie ever on Blu-ray or the first movie by the studio on Blu-ray?
They were going to call the movie Blu-ray, and then they're like, no, let's call it Face-Off. And I think it actually was probably a good decision. It was Face-Off 1997, trivia fact, the first Paramount movie on Blu-ray. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, okay, well, who gives a shit about that? But back when they're always like introducing like HD, DVD, and like DVD, it was a big deal.
In the sense that, because like I was saying, like HD, DVD, and Blu-ray was like an actual thing, right? You had to choose one. You had to either support one or the other.
No, if you're rich, you could have both.
Well, yeah, I'm sorry. If you're rich, you could have both. My bad. I forgot Chris was able to afford both. But for most of us, we had to choose one. And
I chose HD DVD. And so I am actually proud of that choice because I watch American History X every day.
Those movies like kind of dictated, like the movies you love kind of dictated what platform you're going to select. And I guess Paramount probably supported Blu-ray just in general. So I'm going to assume that all their movies kind of went to Blu-ray because it was kind of like a studio thing. Like I remember like Universal and I think Warner Brothers kind of really backed HD DVD. And then like Sony obviously went with Blu-ray because of Sony PlayStation and it being like it's.
Let's not forget who's going to be buying a new thing like Blu-ray if their favorite movies aren't on it. And not every movie was going to be on it. And so they have to be very selective as to which movies they're actually choosing to appeal to the most people in order to actually sell these products. So having Face Off as the first batch of Blu-rays with the B movie and Next, I don't see The Godfather on there. I don't see Chinatown on there or Apocalypse Now. I see Face Off,
all Paramount
B movie, and Next. So a commentary of what Face Off means to all of us.
Importance of Face Off. Yeah, all right. I can see that.
Thank you.
I guess I'll go next first because you set me up to go first. So why don't I just go next now?
I was actually going to have Tyler go next, but
of course you were.
Tyler, what fact do you bring to the table?
Thank you, Chris. I thought you'd never ask to get the coveted second spot. My interesting bit of background trivia is director Alan Mack, in an interview with Hong Kong Cinemagic, said that his film Infernal Affairs was inspired directly by Face Off. He basically just took the same kind of premise of two characters switching spots and had them switch jobs instead of switch faces. If you haven't seen this movie, it's a Hong Kong John Woo-esque film, but it is a direct inspiration, almost a remake of The Departed, which went on to win Best Picture.
Would you say it's kind of like the missing link between Face Off and The Departed?
I think now reading this, it clearly is, which is amazing.
It's the lost love child.
I've never really put that connection together until you mentioned it, but I guess, I mean, it does kind of make sense.
It makes me wish Cage and Travolta were in The Departed, if only to hear a Boston accent out of both of them.
Yeah, especially.
Or that like everyone's just always watching Face Off, like in the background.
Yeah.
Sean, not to cut you off, but what is your interesting trivial fact of Face Off 1997?
My interesting fact has to deal with like the entire premise of the movie, which is, of course,
for fuck's sake,
John
it's just a very
Travolta,
easy fact. One line, one sentence is
John
easy.
Travolta and Nicolas Cage obviously having to impersonate one another. Now, as we could kind of see, for John Travolta, it was pretty easy. It wasn't difficult to impersonate Nicolas Cage because
just by virtue of him being a 30, like this would have been 30 years into his career. He's as a 30-year
that's part
career.
of it.
It's easy for you to do this kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
because you're a seasoned professional, correct? But at the same time, he's also impersonating a man who's absolutely batshit insane in almost half of his roles. So he had things to latch onto. Cage, on the other hand, had a little bit more issue trying to find those nuances that helped him become John Travolta. So
which is ironic because you would think someone so exaggerated would be able to do the mundane and very undercut thing much easier, but it's actually much more nuanced and probably more difficult.
It's the opposite of his style, though. Yeah, it's the opposite of his style. So I can see why it might be difficult for him. But when Travolta realized that Cage was having these difficulties, Travolta apparently came in for the save, and he pointed out a list of films for Nicolas Cage to watch to nail down the John Travolta like idiosyncrasies.
Grease 2.
Do you want to know the movies were?
Welcome back, Cotter.
They certainly weren't Grease 2 because he wasn't in that one. But the movies were Phenomenon, Michael, and Look Who's Talking. Kind of taking Look Who's Talking out of it because I don't think that's the case for this one. But Phenomenon and Michael were probably two underperforming films for him in the most part that he thinks other people should like reevaluate. So I feel like he just like named these movies to be like, yeah, go back and watch those movies. They were pretty good.
My second face-off fact has to do with the title itself, Sean, because the slash that we know and love so much in the title Face-Off 1997 was a controversial one. People were thinking, okay, well, you know what? And I gotta say, practically so. How is this going to work on a marquee, on a theater marquee? Because people are going to be like, face
and off.
Yeah, are these two movies? So, anyways, it is weird as well because you have to consider how many other movies is this the only one maybe that has the slash?
Well, I mean, a slash is almost an exaggerated hyphen, and a hyphen is in a lot of movies, so I don't really know.
Is this the only movie called Face Off? But we know that's not true.
Well, I'm probably stepping on your research here, Chris, but the reason why John Woo pushed to keep the slash is to keep it separated from movies about hockey, right?
Well, obviously there is a movie called Face Off, which has to do with about hockey, and actually Johnny Depp wanted to be, in the movie until he found out it wasn't about hockey.
All right, does that tie into your last idea, or are we moving on to Tyler now?
I have no idea. That's all I got.
So Tyler, it is.
I don't believe this at all because watching the footage looks like nothing. We're gonna have to do a deep dive at some point, but. Yeah. Apparently, Nick Cage performed that 200-foot jump from the prison roof into the water himself.
Bullshit.
You know what? And I'm going to probably call bullshit on this because we do not see his face.
No, here's the bottom line. If Nicolas Cage actually did that stunt, there is no way the camera is not facing him to watch it happen. Yeah. There's no way. There's no way.
And it's going to be one shot, too, instead of like a million different shots. Yeah. Because they want to see him actually jump off. Imagine how funny it would be if he did do it. And they're like, you know what? We can find someone else to jump off better than that. And then they just like, the footage that they chose was actually like a stunt actor doing
that's
like
all.
That's
not impossible, to be fair. I mean, it's unlikely. It's unlikely, but it's not impossible because
impossible?
Impossible, sorry. Impossible. Mission impossible.
Me fail English?
Me fail so good. English bad fucking
I'd just like to put this on your...
That is apparently how like a lot of the fight scenes in the Blade movies went, so it is not a side of the realm of possibility.
Well, ask me what my last fact is.
Fuck you.
Thank you. So my last fact is a little known cameo. Did you guys know that
I forgot about this.
That apparently the universes of Face Off and Jurassic Park are one and the same. because they are.
That explains the dinosaurs, of course. In
Yeah, of course. That controversial scene where Castor Troy jumped on top.
They
of
used frog DNA to get.
I heard the original title of Jurassic Park was Jurassic/Park, but they just put it on a poster.
To go back to the prison for a second that Nicolas Cage apparently jumped off of,
Which obviously he did.
Which obviously he did. The action scene during his breakout, there's a very quick cut that you can see of like a metal cart in the background as Nicolas Cage is dodging some bullets. And on this cart is the InGen company logo from Jurassic Park, which is the company that made the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park.
Right. Is this just leftover material that they could just use instead, or like they bought like at discount? Thinking, they'll never invent high definition TVs.
In all likelihood, yes. But at the same time, it's like I've seen the picture.
Sean, is this picture the same one?
Yeah, that's it, Chris. You nailed it.
Perfect. Let me ask you this: would anyone actually associate InGen with like Jurassic Park and be like?
Well, as soon as I saw the name, I knew who they were talking about. So I assume some people.
Yeah, but you're weirdly obsessed with Jurassic Park, though. You're always talking about how in 1995 they made dinosaurs come alive, and it's like there's something going on with you.
But they did. In all likelihood, I think they just needed some extra set deck, and like they're like, all right, we got all this shit, and no one really put two and two together and noticed there was a huge
they have a future movie, and it probably looks futuristic. It's like, fuck it, bring it in.
Yeah, but anyway, it slipped in there. And from now and forever, we can always say that Face Off and Jurassic Park exist in the same universe because there's proof.
I think actually one's just a direct sequel or a remake. I'm not sure.
Finally, Chris, all right, it's been 15 minutes of you pretending like you have something actually important to say. Why don't you impress all of us and blow us all the hell away and give us your final piece of information?
This is like being invited to a gender reveal party, and we're finally about to find out.
And we're about to start a fire.
Well, if I want to burn you up right now with a bloody inferno, I guess now is the time.
Chris, what the fuck is Chingate?
This is two stories that are colliding. We have John Travolta saying in one corner that it was my idea, playful fun. I chose to make fun of myself a little bit. And then in the other corner, we have the screenwriter saying, no, I actually had to like calm John Travolta down because he was so upset with the insinuation that Nicolas Cage would be making fun of his chin. And so, do we believe, gentlemen, and we're going to find out next week, do we believe A, John Travolta's telling the truth? Or would we consider that, no, it's the screenwriter that's telling the truth?
I guess Todd and I will have to think about it for a good long week, and we'll get back to you.
And I reach out to my people, my sources.
Yeah, but my gut is saying that John Travolta's a fucking liar.
See you next week on week 19, the in-depth look at Chingate, 1997.